Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it like we were evolved to do. Today, speaking about tomatoes. Although these can be grown at many parts of the year depending on the climate, late summer and early fall are the prime time for the tomatoes. They come in many varieties, including the heirloom, cherry, and plum, but keep in mind that some varieties may have slightly different peak seasons. Like I said, tomatoes can be grown at wide varieties throughout the year, so it's a good idea to check with local sources or farmers to get the most accurate information on certain varieties of tomatoes. Also, note greenhouse-grown tomatoes are available year-round in many places, but they may not have the same depth of flavor as those grown in their natural outdoor habitat and season. So the greenhouse is a modern invention that our ancestors didn't have access to. Just be aware of that. Tomatoes are native to western South America, particularly the region that is in parts of present-day Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Ecuador, and they were first cultivated by indigenous peoples in these areas thousands of years ago. The wild ancestors of modern tomatoes are small, cherry-sized fruits that actually grew in the Andes Mountains. These wild tomatoes were eventually domesticated and selectively bred by ancient cultures in the region. Tomatoes were introduced later on in history to Europe by Spanish explorers starting in the 16th century. Initially, they were met with skepticism, and they were more grown in Europe as ornamental plants more than for culinary use, kind of like an import of a foreign delicacy just to keep in your garden for pretty looks. However, over time in Europe, they gained popularity and became a staple in many cuisines throughout Europe and the world. Italy was maybe the first one really trying to bring it into their traditional cooking on the wide scale, but over time they continued to spread throughout Europe and they were introduced to North America. It's this time, by the 18th century, they were widely cultivated in North America and many other parts of the world. Especially in the southern United States, they gained a lot of the popularity that they still have today in the southern cooking. Through selective breeding, tomatoes have continually undergone significant changes in size, shape, flavor. New varieties have sprouted out, including the beefsteak tomato, the plum, and the cherry tomatoes, all these types of things, all these different colors. Also, canning and preservation methods have been popular with tomatoes too, and this became a major industry in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Today, though, in the modern times, tomatoes are still a staple in many cuisines worldwide. They are used in a vast array of dishes, from salads and sauces to soups, sandwiches, all those kinds of things. And tomato production has become a significant part of global agriculture, actually, with many countries cultivating them on the large scale and even year-round if they have the greenhouses. So throughout this history, tomatoes have evolved from the wild Andean fruit to one of the most widely consumed and versatile ingredients in the world. So like I said, it is actually a fruit technically, but we like to call these things vegetables. But that's all for me. I love tomatoes. They're so good in so many things. What about you guys? I probably like chili best, or just tomatoes on some nice burgers. But let us all know if you guys have any recipes down below.